we've been there just
Like,
about every year.
I used to go to those when I was a kid, man. Like when like Power 92 used to have performances out there, and then you go to all the booths and get like the African scents and the fake African teas.
Why they gotta be fake?
Because they were. That's why.
Yeah, we
You
still
would look at the tags and whatnot. On the tag, it'd say Hanes or something.
Yeah, it would be a T-shirt with Tupac high-fiving Biggie and Martin Luther King in the background. Like, fam, you know that shirt was fake. Don't do that.
Shoot.
I seen it with my own eyes.
And we still copped it. That's the funny part. I wore that joint the next day to school.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's it for me though. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? What you got going on this weekend?
For You Are the Father Day, I don't have anything planned either. I'm kind of like Don. I mean, it's just another day. What happens, happens. I feel like, you know, obviously Mother's Day is elevated a lot higher. People, you know, love their mama, make songs about mom and all that stuff. Like Chris Rock had that bit talking about it, fathers versus mothers and whatnot, but nothing's been planned. I honestly don't have anything that I want or need. You know, like if they want to give me something, go ahead and like throw some dollars my way or whatever. And then, you know, I'll just use it for whatever I want as far as the kids and everything.
You
and
want the wife to pay you?
How's that different from any other day? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not cooking in the kitchen and whatnot. She's the one usually making the food. And so either, you know, someone's going to make a meal or we're going to go out to dinner somewhere, I guess. You know, I'm not thinking about, oh, I want this or it needs to go this way or that way or blah, blah, blah. Nah, just not really into it. And then as far as Juneteenth, the only thing I have planned is I'm probably gonna, every time I'm out and about and I happen to see a white person that I know, I'm be like, yo, like it's Juneteenth, hook it up. And I have my hand out, maybe they'll pay me, you know, pay me them reparations. Know what I mean? You know, something like that.
That's funny.
Hit them with that white guilt. I like that.
Yeah.
You might catch one of them. You gotta drive along Scottsdale. You might catch one of them.
Who has cash anyways? You're gonna be like, cash at me. Venmo
let me Venmo you.
That's just funny. Have that on your T-shirt. Just have your Cash App handle on the T-shirt. Hashtag reparation.
QR code.
Just do that in general. Actually, forget reparations. Just for anybody, if you can make it. Everybody can make T-shirts nowadays. So as you mentioned, just make a T-shirt, have your little like symbol or whatever, because people are gonna go ahead and scan it anyway. Just to be like, huh, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, you know, lend me $1, you know, or something like that. You know,
you'd be surprised how much money you get just randomly.
I might do that. I might start with like just painting on the side of my car or something like that, or like on the window. Just be like, yo, gas is too crazy. Hashtag, you know what I'm saying?
For real. The business idea.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad.
Yeah, I ain't doing too much.
Too many people already.
I was gonna every year they have a little bear festival. All these little breweries go out into this park and you know, you pay X amount, get 10 tokens or whatever, get, you know, so many ounces of, you know, lit. So I was thinking about doing that, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that anymore. I was gonna do that today, but it's kind of rainy, and then I thought about doing it tomorrow, but I'm supposed to go over to homie's house. We're gonna like throw some ribs on the smoker and throw a couple bear can chickens on the grill and just hang out, chill, a little whiskey and a little stogies and call it a night. So it should be cool little weekend, nothing major, nothing fancy.
Sounds quite manly of you.
Hey, it works.
I'm not mad at it.
So you have people calling you daddy over there? Is that what you're saying?
What'd you say?
Do you have the ladies calling you daddy over there?
Some of them. I'm supposed to meet a new one today, so we'll see how that go.
Sounds like a busy day.
Well, yeah, because it's like it's going to be a little quick little like lunch, brunch, little date kind of thing. just been talking to her the last couple of days, and we decided to meet up later on today. So we'll see how that go.
So you're doing a rush date, like quick?
Yeah, it may not be quick, maybe like a couple hours. But so we're just meeting up during the day because she has plans with like her birthday party, not hers, but like on her friend's birthday parties later on tonight. So, but she wanted to hang out today, and we know our tomorrows are going to be busy, so we decided to do a little lunch date today. So we're probably going to meet up like around 12:30 and go till her meeting with her friends is to like at around 4. So a little before that, we'll cut it loose.
Nice.
So we'll see how it works.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah, we'll see. It is whatever's whatever. I ain't complaining anyway. Either or.
Is this the first date with this new chick?
Yeah.
Where'd you meet her?
Barbershop first.
Huh?
You gotta go to the barbershop first.
I know, right? I need this shit.
I was gonna say, I'm like, he's looking mighty like he don't give two shits for this new date. He's like, look, I'm gonna pull up in this cap. This
right,
hat.
probably will.
That's that COVID look right now, you know, like it's COVID season or it was COVID season. So,
I know, man, like we in a pandemic. Come on,
man. Well, that's just a test, though. If she likes me like this, she gonna like me when I'm hella clean. So
I don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm not letting that rock.
Nah, I'm gonna get cleaned up. I'm gonna shave it up, trim it up before I dip out.
That's funny. You gotta look like your picture on whatever app that was.
Well, I sent her the picture. I sent her a picture like me rugged. I sent her a picture of me last night just laying down and stuff like as is. So, and she's still feeling it. So. I gotta be real. I don't care. Shoot, if you were good, you good. You not. It is what it is.
You starting to assume what the quality of what you picking is looking like.
Shit,
that's funny.
I ain't catfishing. I ain't putting no damn pictures of me like 20 years old, 20-year-old pictures and stuff on there.
So Don, last time you talked, you got a new job.
Yes. Yeah. Monday I started for that company called Whatnot. If you haven't heard of it, it's like pretty much like a online based platform where you can where sellers do live shows and sell like anything. So it's like a live auction style type of platform. So anything from sneakers to trading cards to collectibles to vintage to all that stuff. And they have a warehouse out here for fulfillment and like refunds and all this other stuff. And I got the job as the warehouse manager. So I actually run that junk, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's big. It's really big. This is the one I was like waiting for. This is the one that I really wanted. And the bag that they dropped was phenomenal. All right. So that's why I took it. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I just ended my first week yesterday. It's cool. Nice. They already got me going to I'm flying up.
They're Drizzy fans.
What's up?
Apparently they're
listening to the Drake album in the background.
Hey, I know y'all listen. Did y'all like it? It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I told you my review. I think it surprisingly is a departure from his regular rapidy rap style, especially given the like him and Future and him and Dirk and him and 21 Savage stuff he's been doing back and forth. I like the departure from that. A little more R&B basic, letting the beat rise, especially cheating with that, Spanish guitar solos and the different other. Like I thought it was melodic and it was good. I thought it was interesting how the majority of it was kind of clean. It doesn't have a lot of cussing on it except for those couple of tracks. It seems like one track flows into the next. Like you could just listen to it straight through, except for the last track with 21 Savage is like where he finally gets into his rap bag, and I actually didn't like that one. That one could have been left off.
Well, because it just doesn't match what he was trying to do. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'll go back to it, but like I had made a Facebook post, I don't know if you guys saw it, where I'm like, it is a brunch type of vibe. Like if you're out Sunday chilling, that's in the background. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he made a perfect summertime like album. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be at all the pool parties in Vegas. That's gonna be alongside Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's cool. Drake he's not stupid, so he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So while the fellas or the real ones is like, man, this ain't no heavy hitter. Like, he doesn't care. It's for the females.
Makes sense. I didn't listen to the album. I haven't even, acquired it through various sources or what have you. I did watch that music video where he gets married a whole buttload of times. That was funny or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like Quincy had mentioned in the group text or whatever, where it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of Drake. I'm not hating on him. I'll definitely listen to his music, but I'm not like trying to go out of my way to listen to his music. So it's like, all right, some stuff's cool, some stuff's bad. To this day, I don't think like there's one Drake album, maybe a mixtape like So Far Gone or whatever, but there's not one actual album of Drake that I've been like, all right, this is perfect. I can listen to it like front to back and be legit down with it. Usually it's like you got like a 11, 12 track album or something like that, and I like 3 or 4 of the songs. The rest of them are like I could live with or without. So I'm not too in a rush to hear this one.
Hating this is being real. Like,
he obviously has classics. He obviously has stuff that's going to stand the test of time. He's been around since 2009. Like, it's way longer than most people that we used to highlight from back in the 90s. Like,
you just touched on it. He's been on there for like a long ass time, and that's the main argument I have about people. They're talking like, oh well, look at how many Drake's or look how many hits that Drake has versus Tupac, and acting like Drake's better than Tupac just because like Billboard and all that stuff. One, the motherfucker's been like alive for so many years more, and then 2, like hip hop and whatnot is such a bigger genre for people in today's society versus old ones. So I'm not a big fan of that. And yeah, he's been around long and he has had hits like you just mentioned, but think about how many albums and how many tracks he had to put out to have those hits. So it's kind of like, again, LeBron and Jordan. Jordan was efficient. Tupac, I'd say, is efficient, or some other people are efficient. Drake just produces a whole lot of ish. Similar situation to like his mentor, Lil Wayne. But again, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
My controversial opinion is there's not one Tupac album I could play front to back.
Okay, hold on, slow down. We were talking about that. We were talking about Drake. We were talking about Drake. Let's stop with the Tupac slander. Get back to Drake.
Well,
I'm not saying he's not in my top 5 because I love the impact. I love the hits.
We'll cross that bridge in a moment then, perhaps. But I think Quincy was going to say something supporting me, hopefully.
Yeah, the same. Like, I don't know. I understand. I see the like for him, but I don't understand how he went from you're the best to this iconic dude. Like, yeah, he's cool, but nothing. Like I said, that's not the first CD I would pop in the car. I wouldn't go to my Rolodex and put Drake in. That's just me. Like I said, I'm not hating on him. I appreciate his talent. I respect him for doing his thing, but hey, it's not somebody I would say, hey, he's the best.
Let me start by saying this. I've never claimed to be a Drake fan. I never, but I know I appreciate like music and know when somebody's out there doing it. Drake is doing it. We can hate it all we want. We can not hate it. I don't listen. In my daily rotation, I don't play Drake. However, I do know he's got at least 2 or 3 classics underneath his belt. Like, I'm never going to be remiss to say he doesn't. So Far Gone as a mixtape, phenomenal. Yes. Thank Me Later is like an absolute classic. You know what I'm saying? Take Care, very, very solid album. Now, like Brian, do I want to listen to it? Probably not. But I recognize that it's an actual classic. I know what he's done since 2009. Like, lyrically, he's up there. Like, he says a lot of like corny stuff, but when he gets to it, he gets to it. So to be melodic, to be lyrical, to have very good production, and stay consistent, like you can't hate on it. You know what I mean? I don't listen to it on a daily, but I understand and I respect it.
And that's what I was saying. I'm not hating on him, but I just not going to play him. I respect his hustle. I respect his game. But yeah, you have to be, like I said, he got so up there, you know, he has to be consistent. He has to be good. You know, and when you got enough money to pay enough people to write their songs too, you got to definitely be up there too. You know, you can tell hear his elevation from his first mixtape till, you know, like 2 years, 3 years, 8 years, 10 years later. You can tell he got a lot better. Some of that's him, and some of that is, hey, write this for me.
Yep.
He even admitted like he has writers.
Man,
ain't nothing wrong with it.
It's still him.
You know?
So I'm not hating because he still got to perform that song. He still got to get that attention. He still got to put it on that wax. So he's still doing it. I don't have any issue with anybody that has a ghostwriter as long as you still can put it out there proper. Because you can say the dope person, if people ain't vibing, you still garbage.
Okay, I wanted to make sure, because when you would like threw that little tidbit in there that he writes, it sounded like it was a jab. But if you're okay with it, because some of our like greatest artists have writers, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. as long as you're okay with it, I'm cool with that. All right.
Yeah, I'm 100% okay with it. I don't hate on if anybody got writers or what have you. Like I said, because you still got to put the art out there. You still got to produce it. You still got to sing it or rap it or whatever. And if you ain't putting it out there properly, you still going to be garbage. And he's doing his job. So, hey, like I said, hats off to him. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to play the album. I'll hear it out eventually, but it's not on my to-do list.
If you go on a brunch on that date, you're going to listen to it today. I guarantee it. It's going to be in the background.
Shoot.
And the girl that you're going to be dating with, she's going to have that mimosa in her hand just swaying like this. Oh, this new Jake.
If it works for her.
Might be a good soundtrack then. Might be a good soundtrack to play like on their car ride or whatnot, you know?
I'm telling you.
Hey, if it works for her, shoot, I'm down.
I'm telling you, throw it on. Just turn it down a little bit. Just watch.
Yeah. So do you think Drake actually has that effect on the ladies, or do you think he has that reminder of toxicity where they're like, I gotta stay away from people like Drake and things that people respect about Drake?
Quite the opposite. They love anything Drake.
Toxic aside, the majority, yeah.
Yeah, no, toxic aside, they mess with Drake heavy. They don't. I think like either they ignore the toxic lyrics on purpose, you know what I'm saying, or they just like are vibing so much to his like melodic voice and the sounds in the background that they don't even know the stuff he's saying is insane. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was about to say. It's like this generation, they don't even listen to the lyrics. Like, they don't even know what half the rappers actually listen to half of what the rappers are saying. Like, you see all these chicks on TikTok, this and that, dancing to these certain songs, and that's just berating them and everything else. They don't even listen to lyrics. They just listen to who's popular, who's the song that's popular, the artist that's popular, the vibe, the beat, whatever else. But you can say 100% pure garbage, and the average person is going to love it just because they told them what you're supposed to.
I think I think that's kind of the same way we, to an extent, maybe not the same level extent as kids nowadays, but at the time when we were growing up and whatnot, we kind of did the same thing. Like, for example, Bone Thugs and Harmony was one of like the biggest groups like in the 90s and whatnot, after, you know, Tupac and Biggie and all the East Coast, West Coast stuff. And I remember just trying to mumble those lyrics, like, you know, when I'm talking about first of the month and whatnot, like, you know, I mean, and it wasn't like you had that comprehension to hear exactly word for word what they're saying. I remember like that song's the only reason I even knew, like, oh shoot, so when you have to pay like rent, like it's on the first of the month, I didn't know that, you know, like, but I wasn't thinking because I was listening to that beat, you know, the fast lyricism, like wasn't thinking about what they're saying. And then even times we were listening to what they're saying and, you know, it wasn't anything special or whatever, but we just listened to the lyrics and we sung it because it sounded good, even though we were saying like whoop that trick or whatever, like, oh, we're talking about beating a woman or something, or like, or whatever it may be, like the songs back then weren't as, I think we have more filters then as we do now. Now it's just like, man, let me get that pussy, like, instead of let me get that cat, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just a little more raw now. And there are more, again, Bone Thug and Harmony like things where they're speaking real fast, or the voice that they're speaking with isn't one where you can really grasp and hear what the actual lyricism is. I think there's a lot more of that out now, but I'd be remiss if I didn't point out we kind of had a little bit the same back in our day too.
To a certain extent, yeah, but at the same time, you got the relevance. Like you said, you got the relevance of the first of the month, and you knew it and heard it, and that's where you associated with it, and that's where you learn from. The kids nowadays, at least in my opinion, like, they're not catching any of the words, so they're not really reciting any of the lyrics. Like, we try to recite Bone, but they're just like whatever. They're not even trying, or they're not even getting the relevance of it's the first of the month. We get up. But like I said, I feel 100%. Everybody, that's the way the world. Everybody is going to listen and follow the lead and follow the pack to a certain extent.
I disagree with what you're saying, because I think in the era of Instagram, TikTok, people are trying to come up with captions. They're trying to come up with blah, 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 quoted by Drake, quoted by Trey Songz, quoted by, they want to pick out something and be like, I was the first to say that this is something, or to create a dance and be like mimicking the words. And there's so many of those girls, whatever, that are like, oh, like, this is not even in my element. You wouldn't think I would know all the words to Nicki Minaj Monster, but this like now elevates them and their status because they know the words. So there's a lot of people that are actually paying attention to lyrics, picking out words, trying to find captions, and trying to create some viral thing. I think a lot of people
are person though. That's my point. They're just following that pack, because it was just one person that did that, and they're like, okay, let me do that too. Let me do that too. Let me dance like this person. Let me dance like this person. Let me rap the same. They're not doing it because of the art. They're not doing it because they love it. They're doing it because that other person is doing it. When, like, back in the day when you went to school, like when we were like Eminem used to rap the whole Kim verse. You did that because you love that whole verse or whatever. And they're, like I said, they're doing it for clout. They're doing it just to impress other people and just to have people follow them and doing it. They're not, like I said, at least in my opinion, they're not doing it because they love it. They're doing it just because they want other people to love them for doing it.
And I was going to say, adding to Harold's point, because I agree with Harold 100%. I think people pay attention more too, because we're in the state of cancel culture, right? So everybody is trying to listen to see if you say something wrong, or if you say something disrespectful to some type of group or some type of person. So honestly, I think today people absolutely pay attention to lyrics more in depth, to the point where they try to decipher one little thing you say. You could be saying like, yo, I don't mess with that dude over there. And immediately they're like, oh, wait, let me go back to his tweet 2 weeks ago when he said he had beef with such and such. So they try to like create some type of like thing that's going on to where they try to decipher every little word you say, whether it's a rap song, a singy song, or anything like that. So I think today, more than anything, people I mean, bro, you could put a song out, somebody will put a song out at midnight, and by 12:02, the lyrics are on the website. You know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't happen.
Well, that was one of the biggest controversies about.
Go ahead, Errol.
That was the biggest controversies about Kendrick's album. It wasn't how great it was. It wasn't how it was kind of like a deep dive into what therapy is like for Black people. It was, did you guys hear about the Auntie song where he's going and talking about like,
immediately.
And oh, is he dead naming? And what does this mean? Oh, and he's using the F word. Is that a way of talking about how, you're ignorant and you have to grow into something? Or is that actually using it and perpetuating the problem? And so they have like a whole deep dive. It's like people are trying to create their dissertation on the album rather than just letting it ride.
That's kind of the point. Like, I'm trying to make to a certain extent where, like I said, they're not doing it because they just want to hear the album and love it. They want to do it just to say, hey, I heard this and I want to change the narrative, or I want to punish this. I want to cancel this person. They're listening to it for a negative reason to a certain extent. They're using it just to say, hey, damn, he really said that? Like, let's hate on this person for saying this instead, or let's blast him for saying this. Now let's go to Kevin Hart's tweets 20 years ago and where he said this and take this away from him. Like, I think it just sucks that we live in a culture where they want to punish people for saying words.
So I get what you guys are all saying. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle of everybody here, though, because I don't think it's fully one way versus it fully being another way. Do I think people listen to the lyrics? Yes, but not to the extent that, Harold may be thinking or Don may be thinking. And do they completely just ignore it and just want to, dance and bob their head to the music like Quincy's saying? I don't think that fully as well, but more so it's just that because there's all these social media and all these platforms where everybody can get their 15 seconds of fame or they're putting their 2 cents if they want, they have the ability to. So I think when it comes to like a good track, like, or the hot new artist out, we'll take Lil Baby, for example. You got Lil Baby, he comes up with, a dope track or whatever that has a nice beat. Kids are, or at least I'm assuming younger kids are going to immediately gravitate to the sound of it, and they're going to throw that up on TikTok. That becomes a viral trend. And so that 2, 3, 4 bars or whatever it is of music are consistently associated with like a couple of stupid dance moves some kids come up with and whatnot. In that sense, again, it all developed just from them listening to the beat, not necessarily knowing the lyrics or whatever, right? Or you may have another person that does the same thing. They listen to the lyrics though, and so their dance moves are associated with the lyrics because, oh, he said, put it in the pot and cook it. So they're going to make that little, stir in the pot motion or whatever. And then you could have people that listen to the lyrics alone, like, the beat, something they heard before, it's generic, whatever. And either they're like, Dan's a Lil Baby, and they're going to pick it and choose the parts of the bars that actually say something or making a statement they interpret. Or you're going to have people that are haters of Lil Baby, and they're going to be like dissecting the whole song just to find like, one snippet where like Harold was saying like, oh, maybe he's doing a sneak diss at this person here. Let me research what this is, or, whatever it may be. So I think it's a combination of all those things. Yeah. But personally, I think what's more popular is that people are lazier, so they just go to what the easiest thing is, which for me would probably be the beat. They start listening to the beat, and if they think the beat's dope, then they start listening to the cadence of the rhyme, or maybe they listen to the chorus, and, over multiple listens, that's where they're like, oh, okay, he was trying to say X, Y, Z, and blah, blah, blah. The other people that specifically, like, 2 minutes after the song drops or whatever, jump in there and start analyzing it and stuff, they already came in with an agenda. They knew they want, this person's coming out with something, I'm going to research it, or I'm going to look into it so I can be the first to say blah, blah, blah. Not everybody's like that, but,
So I got a question for you, Don, then, because you care about lyrics, you care about the musicality of all of it, how it comes together, what it sounds like, the vibe, all of that, right? And that'll keep you listening to it in rotation in the playlist, or comes and goes, right? Mm-hmm. Next week, Lupe's album drops.
Okay.
And so I'm obviously looking forward to it because I know it's going to have all of that in there. However, you've been kind of a critic of saying, I don't want to feel like I'm in class, like I have to decipher his quadruple entendres that, have some type of story and all these analogies and things of that nature. It seems like work. So does that when lyrics go too far, or like at what point do you switch off?
So yeah, no, I have said that like a time or two before. Like, listen, I love lyricism, like you said, first and foremost. Like, I have my moments where I just want to like throw something on, like it's got a nice little beat to it. But yeah, overall, I do like lyrics and I do like to decipher and things like that. Now, someone like Lupe, I love Lupe. Let me preface that. But when he sometimes tries too hard to purposely like not dumb it down to make you think, and like it almost as if like he goes against you, like he'll put a track out and be like, yeah, I don't get it. So it's like, okay, you're making me go back 3 or 4 times to catch something. Now, every now and then that's fun because I'll go, oh, that's what it meant. But ultimately, yeah, if your main goal is to try to like confuse us, then yeah, no, I'm not with it. I don't have that kind of time. Even someone like, we keep reverting back to Kendrick. Like Kendrick will sometimes say things and do things to make you like think or go back. But it's not to the complexity of what Lupe does, you know what I'm saying? Or Talib will do, or like Black Thought, something like that. Yeah, like something, you know what I'm saying? Like, and for the most part, I like all that stuff. I dig it. But when your whole album is that, yeah, nah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm there. Shout out to the people that have that kind of time that like to decipher it and understand what he meant. The triple entendre, or like, oh no, if you play the album in reverse, then you know it'll get the same meaning as if you played. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that.
It's like when it's forced versus when it comes natural as part of their like rhyme scheme or rhythm.
Yeah. Like if you're dope enough, man, just spit. And I'm gonna feel you. Like I want to feel you. But when it's like you're trying to make it to where you don't want me to feel you, it's like, then what do you want from me, bro? Like, and of course it's Lupe. I'm gonna give it a listen. I've given all his albums a listen, but it's like sometimes I feel like he doesn't want us to rock with him. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna force it. You don't want me to rock with you, cool. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about him.
So you believe in that that quotable, whatever, go to Harvard to be a Lupe stan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You gotta go through all that.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Like I he makes me feel like I'm not smart. Like, okay. I'm pretty intelligent, but if you're telling me that you've got 4 different meanings for this one line, I only caught 2. So maybe I'm not as intelligent as you. Sorry. Maybe I need to.
That's where I debated though, and especially that like go to Harvard thing, that caught me off guard. Like really, like so everything he says is smart, or is it more so he believes that everything he says is smart? Because a lot of people that are smart, you know, they again it would come naturally. He wouldn't have to write his rhymes and like, you know, okay, well, this could mean this, but if I rephrase it this way, it means this. And then if I do this, like you don't need to have so many undertones. And then at that, just because you have those undertones in your head and is what you're saying or what you believe you're saying doesn't necessarily mean everybody else is going to believe that or understand that, or that, you know, if they don't understand it, that they got it wrong. I mean, you know, the sun comes up every day. You could use that and be like, oh, well, the sun comes up. That means that a new day has started. Okay. Everybody could probably grasp that. But then other people could be like, oh, no, the sun comes up. It means that actually it's the rising of the like, and trying to interpret everything. Like, no, you're not a genius just because you thought deeper or you think you thought deeper than like, no, like that. So, yeah, that would also be concerning to me with Lupe. Like, now, I listen to Lupe kind of like I listen to Drake. Hey, you know, if something new comes out, we'll run it through. But I'm not taking the time, similar to Don, to go back and listen to it 4 or 5 times. You know, if I'm in the mood and I have it in the background and it plays again, cool. But there's not a whole lot of songs that Lupe, you know, plays or has that I'm like, oh man, like I gotta listen to that one, see what I missed, and you know, get that vibe.
You know, cool. You know, this album's gonna be like that just by the title. I mean, you're talking about Zion, which is based off of this old, and you're talking about drill music, something that's a recent phenomenon, and what that would be like in a, you know, almost biblical sense. Like, you know, it's going to be having all these different meanings. It's going to try to blend all these different, you know, cultures.
So does that make you excited to listen to it, Harold? Like,
heck yeah,
all that.
I like that. I like that. You know, you go to people for different things, and if I listen to the Kendrick album, I know I'm gonna get something in the middle where, you know, you're listening to something and then, you know, they gave me my medicine without even me wanting to, like it was an accident that I've consumed some type of knowledge. And then you go through somebody like, you know, 50 Cent, and you know, it's going to be pure at a certain level of vibration. And it's, you know, retaliation for something that happened. And it's literally as he's saying it. And then you got someone that's a little more abstract. And sometimes I like the abstract. So I don't know. To me, it seems more artistic because he's talking about things. You know, you could do a class on it if you wanted to, or you could just listen to it the way it's presented in plain English. He's speaking English. It ain't like he's speaking a different language.
And that is cool for you if that's what, you know, you get out of his music and that's what you desire. Makes perfect sense. At the same time, as if you're looking for artistry, you know, it's very limited if we're just sticking to rap music, because we could easily expand to different types of music, R&B, country, rock, jazz, you know, or if you don't want to just limit it to music, you could expand it to other arts, you know, actual visuals, like movies, TV, art, pictures, sculptures, paintings, you know, everything and anything nowadays can be interpreted or considered art. And so if you have different places you go to get that, makes perfect sense. So I can understand why you'd go to Lupe, because the artistry he has and his lyricism and whatnot. Oh yeah, that's something you don't mind taking the time out of your day to go through. however many times you need to listen, or however isolated it needs to be, just you and that music. For a person like myself, I don't have the time, and if you catch me like, getting super deep into music, either I really, really, really like the artist, or I've just listened to it enough times to where it came to my head, like, oh, let me think about what he's saying. Or I again, like one of those people I mentioned earlier, where like I go into it listening, thinking like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to hear this, and I'm gonna have to have a comment to say in a couple minutes, blah blah, something like that. Like I don't look for Lupe, although that's what he would be from our rap lyricism consideration. A person that's going to be very thought provoking and all that stuff, and that's probably what I should listen to him for. I don't. I listen to him just like I listen to, like you said, 50 Cent or whatever initially. Now I know that going into it, it's going to be more deep and blah blah blah, but I'm not too concerned with that from the jump. I'm first saying like, all right, draw my attention. If you get my attention, then I'll probably play you enough to get to half of that level Harold's going to get into after two listens.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Pretty much to the most part, like I said, I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, Lupe's top artist. Now to go back where you're saying as far as Don and Brian was saying, as far as getting in too deep, it kind of remind me of a Lupe verse. Not Lupe, but Talib. He's like, just because nobody understands what you're saying doesn't mean what you're saying is deep. So I was like, that was a dope verse. And to a certain extent, like, yeah, it's true. But like you're saying, like, you can listen to it, you can analyze it, you can figure out like, oh, okay, he said this, or he means this, or you can just listen to it like, hey, oh yeah, that was a dope verse. You don't have to go that deep. I personally probably will. I'll listen to it a couple times. Like I listened to the first time, just listen to it. Okay, that was dope. Then I'll listen again. Okay. Oh, wait, he said that? All right, I didn't even hear that the first time. Okay. Then I'll listen to the third time. I may hear something different, but I'm not necessarily going into it just for that purpose to say I'm going to analyze everything. But the more you hear it, because I like the track, I heard a track, 3-4 times because I like it. Then I was like, okay, you hear something different each time. And that's when you pick up things. I don't necessarily, hey, I'm about to Google at the same time, what is he saying? I'm just going to appreciate it and listen to it, hear it a couple of times and hear different things out of it each time.
But see, the only reason why I say that, though, specifically in regards to Lupe, is because he's conditioned us as listeners to purposely go back over and over again and listen to it. He's told you time and time again on IG, on Twitter, on all of that. He's telling you you're not going to get it. That's the thing. I'm with you guys in the sense that I'll listen and I will sit down and I will say, what do you got to say? You clearly took a couple of years to put this together. The least I could do is give you an hour or two and listen to it. So I'll do that. The thing that I have with Lupe is he's told you since day one, after the cool, you're not getting it. So you have to go back. You didn't get this. I said da. But what I really meant is this. That's how I feel now. So anytime he announces something new, I'm conditioned to know, oh, I have to listen to it more than once. And sometimes that makes me not want to do it. You know what I mean? Now, if it's any other artist that necessarily doesn't say that, then yeah, I'm going to give everyone a listen. I'm going to give everyone a chance. I only say that in regards to Lupe, and that's why Harold asked me, because he knows, because we have talks. I like Lupe a lot, always have, but I know I'm going to have to sit at least with this album 3, 4, 5 times before I can fully give an honest opinion. That's the only reason why I say that.
No, I feel you. I can respect it. It's kind of like that conversation we were having last week with Twaliv. It's like, because you heard what he said outside of that on social media, on Instagram, and blah, blah, blah. And that's why made that impact in your head where he's told you this, now I have to do it. I never heard him say that. Mm-hmm. So and just like with Twaliv, I never heard his outside stuff. You thought he was corny for saying this and this. So I never heard like him other than just the artistry, the music. That's all I hear. So that's all I put into reference. I don't go in there thinking like I have to listen to it because he told me I had to, or just because like, oh, it's deeper than I thought it was. I never had that mentality. So, but I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I feel
he told you on go listen to Dumb It Down. He told you on that.
But I think some of it, like if it wasn't good to listen to, then it wouldn't be worth the chore that it sounds like. So it at least has to be pleasant, it has to be quality to begin with. And then you discover.
And that's what I'm saying. Like if you listen to a track and you like it, you're going to listen to it again, and then you're going to hear more and more out of it. I'm not listening to because I have to. I'm listening because I like it and I want to hear it, and I feel it, and then I discover more when I hear it.
But that's also why people will say like, hey, if I were to say I'm going to look forward to a new comedy special, I would look forward to something from whatever, right? Kevin Hart versus someone like Dave Chappelle, because Kevin Hart can at least have some funny jokes in between his stories, whereas Dave Chappelle might just be giving, an analysis on what's going on in the world, and that might not give me 17 laughs per minute, whatever. Like there's these people that want jokes to be told at a stand-up session, and so they say, I came here to be make me laugh, clown, type of thing. And it doesn't come off that way. And a lot
different
of the
artistry.
It's different artistry, but it's a different appreciation that you might have depending on what you come there for. And so that's just all it is. There's a lot of people think you listen to, and I think it's the same with hip hop. And the reason why I asked you that question, Don, was more just because we were talking about lyricism, and you were saying that a lot of people don't listen to lyrics, and when you say that you do listen to lyrics, but yet I don't know if I want to listen to the lyrics to the depth of what someone like Lupe is requiring, then it's like, to what point do you almost want to shut off your brain and just be lost in the moment versus, no, let me pay attention to how he's talking about, wave, and not just waving the hand, but waving, in the heat of the moment. Also waving is like riding the wave, and also wave like as in underground and there were slave ships under the wave, and also waving is like he says wave multiple times, but is saying it. And so in that classic track Mural, he goes deep for like 8 minutes on just analogies. And so it was just interesting. I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to it though. I'm messing with it.
So a similar question then for everybody then is, what is the most difficult song you've tried to or attempted to memorize?
Oh, probably a Twister song. Probably if we're gonna get to it, probably a Twister
like
song.
Adrenaline Rush Days, Kamikaze.
Yeah, probably Emotions, because that was like the first song I heard from him, and and I love that song so much that we just all day on repeat trying to like figure out what he said, and then even when I had the lyrics, trying to now say it, and my mouth and tongue capabilities just weren't there as a 11, 12-year-old. Even to this day, I'll be trying like, well, the motherfucker never control me, squeeze me at home, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So probably something Twisted if I had to think something off top.
Right. Kind of like Don was saying, not Don, but Brian was saying some bone stuff where you couldn't even fathom what he was saying. But I don't know. I had to think about it. I was going to say something dumb like that Panda track where he said Panda 100 times, but I don't know. I didn't really think about it like that.
Buster?
Yeah. I didn't. It's been a minute and a day, it seems like, since the last time I intentionally tried to memorize a song. I'll still like rap along with lyrics as I'm like in the car and stuff, but the parts that I remember great. The parts I don't remember, I just wait for the part I remember. It's not like I'm intentionally listening to it back to back to back. So it's hard for me to pinpoint a specific song that was difficult, other than the last time I did try to memorize a track, and that was the verse from Busta Rhymes on Chris Brown's "Look at Me Now."
Yes,
that one was like a long way too, but it is dope. So yeah, that one probably for me.
That's funny.
I feel you,
Harold. What about you?
Yeah, it's definitely like you're saying, the street rappers. So, but there was also some Eminem ones too, like the Eminem Hellbound. I remember that back in the day.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Like I said, Bone Thugs, the Days of Our Lives, definitely trying to get that one under. The original Crossroads, that one, just looking through it. I was back when 6th, 7th grade, you have like these bring lyrics to school. So we'd print out the sheets and stuff like that. But then there were other ones I had to kind of like dash out a lot of the words because they had no edits. So things like that. And then Busta. So Give Me Some Mo was one of my favorite songs. And just like you said, not even knowing the lyrics, but trying to read that fast and then recite it that fast and then get your tongue, you have to realize you could say words differently so that, you don't actually enunciate all of the word, and so that's kind of like what you have to learn. And And then it was funny because, like you were saying with Twista, I don't know if it was Emotions or if it was Get It Wet. It was one of those that I would say the lyrics, and then actually called me on it one time, and she said, you know, the wifey was like, what did you say? And I was like, oh, you know, I said, she's like, no, go back. That's not what he said. What did you say? So then that was almost like a challenge. Like, okay, now I got to actually like pay attention and do this over again.
I got to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think about it, like, which is more of a pet peeve of yours. I imagine I have an idea of it, but when you have your speed rappers and you know, speed lyricism versus not so much mumble rappers, but rapping with a very very unique or different kind of tone and language. For example, you got your Bone Thugs and Harmony, or we'll say Twista. You got Twista, some like the Adrenaline Rush Out track album and tracks and whatnot, or most recently
Tech Nine,
Kodak Black.
Oh, okay.
Kodak Black and like his like it's not mumbling, but like just again because of the way he's talking, you know. Because again, I will say I do got preferences actually too. Last time we were talking about the Kendrick album, and I got to give Don his props because I really wasn't feeling the audio, like the music selection he chose and whatnot for a bunch of those. But again, I had to take a long ASS road trip. I was playing that the majority of the time, and like dang near fell in love with the album. Again, still early, so I ain't putting the mug up on for album of the year yet, but it's definitely like one of them top 5 candidates. Like it's gonna be hard to top his ish.
It's in the conversation.
Though, that was a whole bunch of Kodak Black on that album, and like that Silent Hill track.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't like the little.
It's a good track.
He's like, like, that's corny as F to me. Still, but outside of that, like the track is pretty dope, including the part with Kodak Black. And I'm like, man, I didn't think I was gonna like this dude ever since like that ZZ track or whatever. But it's all right. At the end of the day, though, still that compared to growing up listening to like, you know, that speed rap, I'm like, I still can't stand these dudes with like that, you know. I have to like turn the volume up hella hard, put my ear up, and like slowly play it back to back to back because they're mumbling and like that, where you can't even understand what they're saying. But what's your guys' thoughts of that mumble versus speed?
You know what it is for me? I mean, clearly, I like Twista, all of that more. I like clarity more, right? You want to like be able to hear it, and it sounds clean when they do it. When Twista, Tech Nine, when they write a beat, it's like the cleanest ever. You know what I'm saying? When Crazy Bone specifically, when he's writing a beat and melodically, to me personally, I think nobody can write a beat melodically as good as Crazy Bone does. Like when
I was just gonna say that. Pause just 1 second. You can look at the Bone Thugs group and you get all those different types. The people that love the Busy Bone, which is a little more jumbled and mumbled together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lazy Bone, which is a little like in the middle. Crazy Bone, which is fast but articulate. And then Wishbone, which is, now I'm gonna slow it down but still be saying stuff.
Yeah. So I like clarity more. The thing that I think with today or like the most recent music is it's just like the area, you know what I'm saying? It's just the region. I mean, you've got Kodak, I'll take him for example. That's that down south drawl, like Florida flow. Like you can't understand what he's saying, but that's just how it is down there. You know what I'm saying? It's how he talks. That's how the area he's in. Same with Atlanta. You got the Migos. You don't really know what they're saying, but it's that Atlanta drawl. Lil Baby, Migos, Thugger, like that's just how they get down. And it's
Atlanta,
like,
you can understand Outkast, you know, Andre 3000 and Big Boy.
Well, no.
You can understand Trick Daddy, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like just as the times progressed, they've just gone. I feel like it's lazy. Like there, and again, like going back to the melody thing, like you said, with Crazy Bone and whatnot, Kodak Black is just like, I'm gonna talk like this real fast, and then I'm gonna say this fast. Like he's just reading and trying to get, like he's afraid to stand up in front of the class and read a paragraph, so he's just trying to read it as fast as possible, and like, you know, just saying like just to get it over with. That's what it sounds like when Kodak Black's rapping, and then you listen to it a couple times, like, oh, okay, I hear what he's saying. Okay, cool. Kind of.
But I feel like in a way there's an art to that. So yes, I agree with that. You know, obviously Outkast, Ludacris, T.I., you can hear them enunciate and it's different. But that's also a different type of rap though. They weren't doing melodic, like slow beats rap or whatever like that. Now it's like slow tempo while you double rapping. Like Migos perfected that. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug, you not like his character, he perfected that. Bro, when Young Thug first came out, we didn't know what the hell he was saying.
I'm surprised he survived Lifestyle. Do you remember? That was the track.
Lifestyle, you couldn't understand one thing he was saying. Or what's the joint he did with T.I.? But the way he was doing it though, it sounds fire. You feel me? And I'll go back to Kodak. Like, I personally love Kodak. It's weird. I know it's not my brand, but I like Kodak. Now, will I download his entire album? No. I got a playlist of like his songs I like, but I mess with Kodak personally. But no, I say all that to say clarity at the end of the day is always going to be better for me. So I will put on a Twista verse before I put on a Kodak, Migos, something like that. But I'm not mad at it.
Interesting.
Agree with that.
You don't like Kodak, Harold? I saw you shaking your head. You don't like him even a little bit?
No, the first time I heard him was actually that on the French Montana track, the Lockjaw.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh, he's messing up the song. Like, but I don't know. I think it's also like the more you listen to something, the more you kind of like get used to it. Just like anything, the more I do something by routine, then I become comfortable with it. There's some people I stay away from because I don't want to be comfortable with that sound. I don't want my ears to be tuned to that frequency. So like, again, I've heard a couple Migos tracks, but I'm never going to listen to the album front to back. I've heard a couple Future songs and I started to like some of it. And I was like, nope, I need to like dial it back. Because I don't want to be a Future fan. And again, the only Future tracks I've liked were actually of that Hendrix album, which was kind of, I guess, a fluke for him because he's never been back to that style or sound before. But yeah, I guess it's me. I listen to a lot of music, like hundreds of albums a year. So most people probably only listen to, 5 albums a year, or like there are 3 artists that they, use. So like I listen to whatever Taylor Swift puts out, whatever Beyonce puts out, Justin Timberlake, and I'm going to listen to probably an old whatever, right? Like, or maybe a Kodak. So they have one maybe new person where they say, hey, I'm still with, the new age music. But the majority, I just wait till the artist I like comes out with something. And so, for us to always week to week seeing what's out new and to try to keep up with that, I think it's different than most people's listening habits.
Yeah, I think maybe I tend to try to give more people a listen because number one, us waiting for the artists we like to come out it's diminishing more and more. Like, we're getting older, right? So the artists we grew up with aren't even putting music out like that. So now it's like you have to kind of try to find today's artists. Like, I know Quincy really likes Talib Kweli. Aside from that Black Star album, when is he putting stuff out? You know what I'm saying? Even you and Lupe is like, aside from this album now, like his last album was 2018. He's been twirling a samurai sword around, you know what I'm saying? Even like Kanye put out Donda, but before that, like, he was not really consistent, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love Ludacris. When's Ludacris putting an album out? I like the old T.I. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that the artists we like, they're not really putting music out like that. So you have to try to find, if you are a music lover like I am, you have to try to go out and find something. And, I don't mind trying to connect to like today's music, today's sound, you know what I'm saying? Am I trying to connect to the people next to it, like the kids? Hell no. But I like to stay in tune with our culture, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I will give someone like Migos a listen. I'll give Lil Baby or Dirk, or I'll give them a listen, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to like it or download it, but I try to understand and appreciate it a little more because, unfortunately, despite if you like it or not, they're the ones pushing the culture forward. Kodak Black is like in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's top tier, not to us, but he's top tier in the culture. Lil Uzi Vert, I hate Lil Uzi Vert. He's literally top tier in the culture. You feel me? Like, these are the guys that are selling out arenas. These are the guys that they drop an album.
They all seem like festival people. Like, they're just a part of a lineup.
Nah, fam. If you see, I also pay attention not to just the music, but like the things outside of that. Billboard. I pay attention to like influence and all that good stuff. I know y'all about to disagree, and that's fine. I'm not saying I rock with it, but these dudes are pushing the rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it, culture forward.
So I'm glad you referenced that last part because I was questioning or curious about the culture, what you're stating as far as them pushing the culture, they're the lead of the culture and so on and so forth. With that last statement you stated, pushing the hip hop culture forward and so forth. The only thing that I would think is to disagree somewhat is that I wouldn't necessarily say they're pushing the hip hop or the rap culture or that African American, Black music culture forward, as opposed to they're pushing pop culture forward. I'm surprised you didn't mention Travis Scott because out pre concert injury or whatever, this dude was on everything. He's on shoes, he's on McDonald's, he's on commercials, he's on every single hot track there is apparently, especially him and Drake whenever they put out there or whatever, But that said, you mentioned Lil Uzi Vert. If he's out there doing something right now, I don't know. Cause after EXO tour life, I ain't hear that do whatever, you know what I mean? In regards to Kodak Black, again, he has songs that people are bumping a whole lot, and you see TikTok people are dancing to him and whatnot. But how many times do you see, again, people that we would identify hip hop culture with, being the ones dancing to his song on TikTok? Nah, it's little white teenage girls and stuff like that for the most part that come up with some dance moves because this music is trendy. So that's why I say it's more so pop culture in my opinion. And then additionally, just to kind of touch on what you're saying as far as the need to actually go out there and force yourself to find some music, given the fact that, all the old artists we used to bump and vibe to or whatever, not putting out music as much. I definitely understand that. But for me, what seems to work a little better is I got my set core group of artists that I like and whatnot. And obviously they're not putting album out, month after month, year after year, whatever it may be. So when I do see them, whether they're featured on someone else's album or they do finally come out with an album and they feature somebody, that's usually where I kind of gravitate to, because I'm like, oh, if you put this person on your album, you must like something of theirs. Maybe they rhyme like you, whatever. And so I'll go and listen from that
Cosign.
end. Or exactly, get the cosign there. Or additionally, since everything on social media, they track everything you do, you say something or whatever, and they start to feed you or force feed you the algorithm that leads to all that junk or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's how I end up stumbling on what I call, these underground artists or whatever, or, just dudes that you don't see on mainstream TV or on the TikToks and all those apps and all that ish or whatever. I remember I got into La Russell a little bit ago, Bay Area rapper, and I had to search like crazy to find actual stuff I could acquire of his music wise and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's dope. Kids maybe 25, 26 or somewhere. I don't know how old he is, but I know he's younger than my age and of that generation that would be doing that, again, pop mainstream rap and whatnot right now. But he's not pop or mainstream. I like him. He's young, and so he's going to be putting out more music more frequently. Cool, and that's what I'll go with. But yeah, I'm not too prone on actually seeking it out. Let me go and search near, far, and wide to find what the hot music is now. And let me force myself to listen to kind of be all right, yeah, I'm still with the culture, so on and so forth. I'm nah, I'm going to listen to the music I listen to. If it steers me in that direction of a certain rapper or a certain artist, I'm gonna do it that way. I let it come to me versus forcibly seeking it out, I think.
Yeah. So real quick. So there's a difference between enjoying music and being forced to enjoy it. I don't force myself to go out there. That's not what I meant. I enjoy music to the point where I like to find new things. I don't like to stay in the same lane as the same 10 artists. That, to me, that's boring for me. So when you keep saying forcibly, I'm not forcibly doing anything. I enjoy going out to look for new music because there's so much out there. If I didn't go look out there, I wouldn't find the Snow Allegras. I wouldn't find all this new R&B music. If I had that mentality that I only like what I like, I would be listening to Luda, Tech Nine, Jay-Z, Tupac every day with a sprinkle little Kanye here, sprinkle little Eminem here, and that's it. But I enjoy music, so I go look for music. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference between doing it forcefully, which I never do. You're never going to force feed me anything. You feel me? I enjoy going to look for new music because I get bored listening to Rick Ross. I love Kendrick. I get bored listening to Kendrick. He only has 5 albums. You know what I'm saying? I get bored listening to. I like to listen to different aspects of things. So
what if again? And I think this is where we're getting confused and whatnot. I'm trying to understand a little bit how you're saying, yeah, I'm seeking out new music and stuff like that. But you just mentioned a moment ago, like, all right, well, you get bored listening to Kendrick. He only has 5 albums and so on and so forth. That said, he is featured on other people's tracks, or he may have other people featured on his tracks. So as far as you searching out new music, wouldn't that be like one of the first things you do? Like, oh, such and such is on this track. I liked his verse. Let me go listen to his, catalog or whatever it may be.
Okay, yeah, possibly, but that almost means I have to listen to one artist to look for others. You know what I mean? So.
Well, it's like right now they're
listening to that artist.
I'm listening to that artist now, but I get sick and tired of that artist. So now I want to listen to something else. You know what I'm saying? So do I have to go seek out a Travis Scott track listing to see Don Toliver's on here. Let me see what Don Toliver's about. And then when I'm listening to Don Toliver, like, oh, he's got some cat named Masego. I don't know who that is. Let me see. Like, sure, that's fun if you kind of connect the dots that way. Me, on the other hand, I like to I stay up to date with things. So I like to listen to see what's going on. If I hear there's a buzz about this new artist, in this genre, I'm going to go peep out. I'm not going to wait till they do a track with, someone I like, you know what I'm saying? That
grassroots way, though, is kind of how I discovered a lot more artists too. Like what Brian was saying, I think for me, listening to, a Lil Wayne song, and then you hear and you discover Currency, and then going from Currency and discovering Wiz Khalifa, but also discovering Dom Kennedy, but then from Dom Kennedy discovering Nipsey Hussle. And so it's like, oh, I discovered Nipsey Hussle from Lil Wayne, because of the connections between them. And that's kind of like how I've discovered most of the artists that I listen to.
Well, and I've done that before too. Like, again, I'll go back to Kendrick. I listen to Kendrick, and that's how I discovered Schoolboy Q, Isaiah Rashad, and the whole TDE. So, I'll do that as well, but I'm just not gonna just limit myself to that. In addition to the grassroots route, I'm going to also reach out because that's what I like to do. I do like to sometimes log in a title and it says up and coming artists. I'll click play I'll give someone 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's all it takes.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, probably not bad. But what about situations where you actually do invest a little more time? Because there's a lot, again, you're listening to the streets or whatever, you hear a buzz about X, Y, and Z person. So you're going all right, yeah, let me play a track from this person or whatever it is. Do you ever get disappointed or feel discouraged? Dang, I wasted my time listening to that whole album because everybody said this album's fire and it wasn't.
First of all, I'd like to feel I'm a little more intelligent enough to know that I'm not giving someone an hour of my time. If it's a new artist and I don't like you within the first 2 minutes, I'm going to shut you off. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I decipher new music. If there's a new artist, let's see, who's someone new that I just got introduced to. I'm trying to think.
Doja Cat.
Stop it. I hate Doja Cat with a passion. But I'll use Don Toliver. Don Toliver, I'll use as a perfect example. When I first heard his voice on Travis Scott's Astroworld album, I didn't like him. It was annoying to me. No, you can't save him. I did that. I couldn't stand him. But he started to bubble more, and people were like, no, you got to give him a listen. So I gave him another try, and I listened to maybe 2 of his tracks. I gave him 3 or 4 minutes. I started to vibe it a little more, and then I heard some features, and I liked it. And then he put his album out. I love that album. So I will definitely give new artists a couple minutes here and there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to decipher, or I'm not going to sit there and do a whole entire discography or album session unless something gravitates or unless something reaches to me. So that's just at the end of it all, I like to listen and look for new music. It's exciting to me, and it is a way to kind of keep your eyes and ears out on the culture without being force fed it.
I have an example too of
I'm kind of
go ahead, Quincy.
No, I was gonna say I'm kind of the same way as Don, like, or I do a little of both. Like I do the grass way, like that's how I found, a couple artists, like even back in the day, like on the Nappy Roots track, All Nah and all My Life Before. That's how I found Anthony Hamilton. Like I first heard him on the hook. I was like, dude, who the heck is this cat? And then that was even before his first album came out. And I was like, as soon as his first album came out, I copped it just based on the hook alone. And I was like, that's one of my favorite R&B artists. But then I also do the same way where I don't necessarily look to say, hey, top artists like Don, but I'll do like, put on Pandora, put an artist I like, and then it'll associate other artists with the same kind of style. And that's how I found, Jasmine Thompson, or that's how I found so and such, where then I was like, okay, I like that style, so I'm going to play her album. Okay. Oh, wow, her album's dope. Okay. Or so then I like find different artists like that too. So yeah, that's how I do a little combination of both ways too. So yeah.
Yeah, there's actually two artists that are kind of recent had a resurgence. So when I first heard Chance the Rapper, I thought it was garbage. And it was like a track on 10 Day or something like that. When he came out with Acid Rap, I was like, all right, I'll give it another chance, whatever. And that was fire to me. So the Acid Rap mixtape by Chance, I was like, wow, this like, and so then I went back to 10 Day and I was like, oh, maybe I just listened to the wrong song, but like this actually is good too. So Chance the Rapper was one of those where originally, nope, wasn't gonna work for me. And then I came back around. And then similarly, Joey Badass, like when I first heard him on 1999, whatever, and I heard one track, I was just like, another New York guy, overrated, kind of young dude that nothing special. But then when he came out with his next mixtape and album, like I was like, okay, I see where he's going. And he had maybe better production or whatever it was. He had a different cosign. And then I went back, and so like some of those just work out that way. And recently, I want to say in the last week, they just released a track, and it is them back to their old way. So there's a Chance the Rapper featuring Joey Badass called Highs and Lows. And I don't know if you've seen the video to that or heard the song, but they are full form. He's back. So I'm like, thank you. So that is legit.
Good to know.
Good, because Chance, man, after that last album he dropped, that was complete garbage. And
this is good.
I wrote Chance off. So I'll definitely give it a listen, because I like you, I mess with Chance. I mean, not after that last album, but
no, yeah, watch the video too, because he has an emphasis on the lyrics matter and all that stuff. So
okay,
he has those in like it's good. So
I'll definitely do that. Do y'all peep out the Logic? That Logic album, man. I'm gonna tell you something. That Logic album's all right.
Last I heard, dude retired, so I didn't even bother.
I'm surprised to hear you, Don, because it sounded like you had written him off too.
I did, bro, because the last 3 projects he put out, you're not gonna tell me were even remotely good.
No, that last one, whatever it's called, no pressure, something like that.
Oh yeah. No Pressure 2, right, or something like that.
It was like No Pressure, yeah, because Under Pressure was his first album.
Oh, that's right, No Pressure. Okay, that one was okay.
It's good, yeah.
The Bobby Tarantino or 3 or whatever it was, and the one
he's trying to do this alter ego thing like they all
that was
do.
bad. But no, honestly, what can you really like hate on this particular album? He's got if you like the
he has self-flattery every other track. He has an interlude with some guy saying, this is amazing. I don't know how you did this.
I didn't like the interlude. Those can go. Those interludes were
That's corny. It's like getting a pat on the back after every track.
Yeah, like Michael Rappaport and all that. And no, that was corny. But when you get down to like his tracks, like they're boom bap like beats. Like they're not bad. You can't not like them unless like you're not a boom bap dude. But he's on there, he's spitting. His features are amazing. Currency feature, amazing. Wiz Khalifa feature.
Yeah,
RZA, you had Royce the 5'9", like every single feature on there was phenomenal, bro. Like this is what I haven't liked the Logic album like this probably for a few years. It was a good album. I liked it.
So I listened to it once. I will listen to it again without the interludes, and I think that would cut down a lot, because I want to say from 30 tracks it'd probably get knocked down to like 18.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, if they come out with a no DJ version, I could probably appreciate it more. Just for some reason, it seemed very Dat Piff to me. It seemed very like this isn't the official one. Like,
see, I like that. Because
Dat Piff, my God.
But that's like so. Okay, so did you feel that same way about Damn?
Kind of. There were like Kung Fu Kitty, I'm waiting for you. You know, I was like, oh come on, like because he wouldn't do it every track, and so why would you mess up like Yeah or like Element when you didn't need to? Like some of those songs.
Call Me If You Get Lost, you didn't like it on that either?
Call Me If You Get Lost seemed a little different.
How?
The DJ Drama, I don't know. For some reason, it seemed like a DJ Drama mixtape. And when they were saying, no, this is an album and it should be treated as such, it was kind of like, that took a minute for me. But the music and the beats were so fire that it was kind of like, it didn't seem mixtape-ish.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that was just like a hip-hop.
I guess maybe because we come from that era of like the greatest music we listened to had DJ screaming all over it. Like, all I listened to for a good 6-7 years were like either G Unit Radio or a Lil Wayne mixtape or a Gangsta Grills, you know what I'm saying? So or a DJ Clue or the Whoo
Kid.
So like to me, that's
Big Mike.
Yeah.
Static Selector. All of those. Yeah.
Green Lantern. So to me, like, I don't know. I like that personally. To me, I know I'm about to get some like fire.
But Funk Flex was never one of those that was at the top. Funk Flex, go away and calm down and turn it down a few notches. Like,
yeah, no, I always dug that personally. I like that because to me it's like kind of gritty. It's time to turn it up, get wild. So I dig that personally.
I always knew that part was gonna be a part of the tracks where it's like could be a good track, but I honestly always thought that crap was annoying. I was like, dude, shut up. I just want to hear the track. I just want to hear the...
Especially when they go, rewind it, do it again. No.
Oh, that was crazy. Bring that shit back.
Like, dude, I don't care who kid you are. Like, just play the track. No. But yeah, no, I feel you. I remember it. I took it for what it was worth, and I knew it was going to be a dope track for the most part after you heard that stuff. But after a while, it's like, dude, I just want you to shut up so I can actually hear the verse and hear the rhyme and hear everything else.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on DJ Khaled doing it?
See,
I don't even like DJ Khaled.
Khaled's different, and the reason why he's different is because he's a personality, and the stuff he says isn't swaggy. All right, so it's one thing like Kid Capri. All he's saying, this is Kid Capri. That's swaggy. That's like old school hip hop. Same with Drama. When Drama says his like, you know, Mr. Thanksgiving, that's swaggy. But DJ Khaled no, it's different because he's
the best.
Yeah.
We the best.
Yeah. You can't say we the best and the music you put out is mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And then
is that not him being swaggy though?
Not really. And it's being corny because he is a person
trying to be swaggy.
He's trying to be, and it doesn't work. And then when another one, you know what I'm saying? And like all those little innuendos he's always saying is like, yo, God did, we got it. Like, stop it. I'm over that.
To change the subject a little bit, but still talking about artists and everything that we like. In your opinion, who's your favorite, like, or who's the best all-around entertainer? Like that complete.
Like in
like,
the history,
like right now?
Or now?
Yeah, like in my opinion, I'll say Jamie Foxx. Because like I said, all around entertainer, like name one other artist that can sing on top of the level, freaking act, drama, action, comedy, stand-up comedy on top of that, you know, just everything, like I said, he puts out, like he said, on the top of his list on everything he does. So there's not a lot of other entertainers that can do that. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like recency bias. I don't know if he still got it.
He's about to put out, supposedly, I heard he
hasn't had a good movie in a long time. He hasn't had a good album he put out since, you know, like even his one after, I think it was like last.
He still can do it. Like, he still got that voice. Like I said, he still got the voice. Like, he hasn't put nothing out in it, true, and I'm waiting for him. He's supposed to do that new Mike Tyson movie, I heard. But then I saw a preview of somebody else doing it.
So if I had to, I agree. If I had to pick somebody like of recent or who I might even consider could take the crown from him if he keeps going up, would be Donald Glover. Childish Gambino, he literally can sing. We've heard him sing. He can rap very well. He can act, not just in movies, but in like TV shows. He produces, he directs, he's done stand-up comedy. To me, he puts out more quality than not in anything he puts his hand into. So I would have to give it up to Gambino.
I was gonna say him too, but the only thing I would say is that Jamie has over him is his stand-up. Like Donald Glover put out stand-up, he did it, but he wasn't prime. He wasn't like on top of the game. He was nothing that he wasn't sent out
jam or anything like that. Yeah.
Stand up.
Well, because I think, but because I don't think Jamie Foxx tried to come out as a stand-up comedian. Donald Glover didn't do that. Donald Glover said, "I'm going to attack everything." In my opinion, if he put everything into comedy, he could murder it because of the way his brain works. But that's not.
I think he can do it. I think he can do it. I just said he hasn't done it yet.
You're right,
but he definitely has it.
But you said overall entertainer. So yes,
yeah,
Jamie Foxx might be a better comedian, but what about directing? What about writing? What about rapping? You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna do all aspects of entertainment and checking boxes, I think Donald Glover's got it in the bag because Jamie, to me, can sing. He does comedy and he can act. So there's three. I've yet to see him direct. I've yet to see him write an actual like Emmy award-winning TV show. I've yet to see him direct and things like that. I've yet to see him.
Atlanta has some gems in it.
What's up?
Atlanta does have some gems in it.
Exactly. And
but at the same time, like I said, he has a little flow, but he hasn't rapped. But the same with Donald, he hasn't really he can sing, but he hasn't really sang like that. He hasn't put no R&B album out though.
Damn, have you heard Redbone? Redbone is one of the greatest songs.
Yeah, that Awaken My Love.
Like I said, he hasn't put an R&B album out. He has a track, but he hasn't put like I said, he got a voice. I heard him back in the day before he was even Donald Glover, before he was Childish, like he was singing that Tamia track. So I respect and appreciate Donald Glover to the max. He's definitely up there, especially with the directing, especially with the producing. So yeah, I can give it to him as well. So he's definitely up there.
I think they both would be dope to hang out with.
What'd you say?
I think they both would be dope to hang out with. Just as far as like, I could see Jamie being more fun off camera, off script, just chilling than like what he has to have written for him or what he's, when he's on. So I think to me, like, saying the Jamie thing, he hasn't done anything recently. It's like that TV show was kind of garbage. His movies have been kind of garbage. His best was when he was on his radio show on Sirius Satellite, where he kind of be himself, unfiltered, and he brought in a cast and an ensemble and people that were also funny around him. That's why I discovered and listened to Corey Holcomb and all them. Yep. There's a lot of people that he's brought into his group that have kind of supported him along the way, but it's just like we haven't seen anything great, and I don't know if he still has it. I know he'd be a good hangout, but
yeah, he has put a lot of people on, for sure. Because I remember I was watching some of his interviews and stuff. He was talking about his parties, or Kanye was there, P. Diddy was there, Jay-Z, all that stuff was there, and they used to collaborate. Chris Brown, and that's how he put Tank on and all that stuff. But yeah, so I think he's definitely has a big impact in the game, more than you see. But what about you, Brian? Who do you like? Who do you feeling? Like, so it's not necessarily a debate who's the best, but who do you like? Yeah. Who do you think
it's crazy because I feel like I'm kind of in the middle there with this one as well. I think both individuals are talented. I was trying to rank my head around who else I'd throw in there beyond those two, and no one else comes to par. Now, entertainment-wise, I would throw in Chris Brown, although he just does the same thing over and over again, just makes music and dance. I guess, he makes music, he can sing, he can dance, he can play basketball. So, I mean, he has some entertainment elements, but nothing pales in comparison to these two guys. And I think with respect to it, first I'll go to Harold's point. I feel like I could easily get along much better with Jamie Foxx than I would Childish. Only because I feel like as time has progressed, he's gotten a little bit into himself because people have been praising him. He's starting to feed into the hype a little bit, I feel like. Maybe that's just me hating or being jealous or something like that. Because dude's hella awesome, and he probably would be awesome to hang out with. But I think he like won some award. I think it was when like he won the first year Atlanta came out or something like that. He won some award, and just the way like he is like in his acceptance speech or like after the post show or something like that, his talking, it just seemed hella smug to me. So they kind of irked me or whatever. But I imagine I probably have fun with him as well. I think that he's more balanced or spread out as far as his talents, like Don said, directing, music or singing or whatever, rapping, acting, etc. So he's doing more things, at least at this time, than Jamie Foxx is. But that's not to say that Jamie Foxx can't do it. And it's also not to say that Jamie Foxx hasn't done better at it. Again, if we were to take into comparison the TV shows, yeah, right now, once Donald Glover got his own show, Atlanta, he had a popular show and stuff like that. But before then, he was a star on a show, aka which was Community, which is cool. But it's just like all other kind of like sitcom things, nothing special or super crazy about, or he wasn't the driving force behind it. Then you look at Jamie Foxx, he had that show for one season or where with his daughter, or where he's playing a dad, some ish like that, recently came out, pretty trash. But then you go back to the Jamie Foxx show with his name, and that show was much fire. I think I'd probably take that show and enjoy it more than I'd enjoy Atlanta, although obviously you had more seasons to go with, and it's more straightforward and standard as opposed to Atlanta, which is kind of all over the place, and we only have 3 seasons. 4th season going to come up sometime next year or whatever. But then also, like, as cool as Atlanta is, this most recent season, yes, it has some gems like Harold noted, but other times I was like, what the fuck am I even watching? Like, again, not to compare the two, but like that whole Lupe fiasco deep thing, there's a couple of things of that nature. It's like, hey, I'm trying to be deep just to be deep, or trying to show you like, hey, there's more to it. Like, so not a big fan of that. And then we look at like movies and stuff like that. Jamie Foxx was in Ray, you know what I mean? Donald Glover, yeah, he's in Star Wars as Lando Calrissian, but what was like, his Emmy award winning or Emmy Grammy nominated thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, he won Grammys and stuff, and or with his music, like Redbone, super good track. Awaken My Love, dope album. Beyond the Internet or whatever, I forget what that one was. That one wasn't that great.
Because the
and
Internet.
Then Camp was all right. Yeah, Because the Internet. Yeah, I really wasn't a big fan of that one. Camp was cool, I guess.
You bought the album.
So he's had dope music and he's had more albums per se, or more like known of music, I guess, than Jamie Foxx. But then Jamie Foxx, what was that? He had that track with Neo or whatever.
So you saying Slow Jams versus Redbone?
And not even, and that's why it's kind of hard to compare, because you got Redbone, which was all Childish Gambino. You had Slow Jams, which was Kanye West and Jamie Foxx. Similar thing. You have Atlanta versus. You can't say you have Atlanta versus Jamie Foxx show, because Atlanta, yes, he had the show and he is directing a couple of the episodes. Like, it is his show he ran. Jamie Foxx show is Jamie Foxx show, but they did have comedic writers, But then also like the comedy portion of it. Childish Gambino, yeah, he did like, a Weirdo or some other stand-up comedy thing or whatever. Meanwhile, Jamie Foxx was a host of Def Comedy Jam or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's different levels, or they've both done great at different areas. So the only thing I could say is that entertainment-wise, more recently is Childish Gambino, but and variety-wise, the more things that one person's doing, it's probably going to be Childish Gambino. But if you're looking for entertainment, one specific piece of entertainment, and to enjoy it the most, it's likely going to be Jamie Foxx, in my opinion.
Now, maybe you're underrating My girl likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the
time. Let's go.
But Eddie Murphy, if he wanted to, he probably could. I mean, he just grabbed Rick James in the studio and just created a hit and said, hey, I could do this music thing too. He's obviously one of the best directors. He created the PJs and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I mean,
he did have an album out in the early 90s, and he
did. Like, you got to give it to him. He had a voice. He could
Eddie Murphy.
That kind of reminds me of a Lil Duval, though. Lil Duval could have an album. He had a couple of tracks and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
But Duval's acting is not even. I mean, that's slappable. I mean, Eddie Murphy's one of the greatest entertainers of all time, and his acting, his directing, his ear and his eyes and all that, like, it's almost like even if he can't sing or rap, his other things that he does way better are still, I'll take that any day over whatever Jamie Foxx could produce or Donald Glover type of thing.
I can give you Eddie. Like, I almost forgot about Eddie because you haven't really heard from him in a minute. This has been a while. It sucks because, like, he's definitely was, my guy, my top cat. And it's just been a minute, and I was kind of looking forward to that if he actually did that Netflix special and stuff they're talking about for the last couple of years, but doubt if it ever's going to happen. But yeah, I can respect that one, definitely. So, there's no right or wrong answer.
So here's the thing about that, though. Like, if we're gonna throw Eddie Murphy in there, that's great and everything, but we got to keep in mind the first two guys we talked about their versatility. Singing, rapping, making comedy, and acting, etc. Now we're talking about Eddie Murphy, who, again, if you want to throw in "My Girl Likes to Party All the Time" or his one album, whatever, what do you do? But like, anyone like looks at Eddie Murphy, they're gonna be like comedian / actor. Fair enough. Okay, right? So you can put him there. Comedy wise, yeah, I'll agree with you. I'd probably lean more towards Dave Chappelle because I'm more into that time frame or whatever. But at the same time, you raise me Eddie Murphy, I'm going to raise you Michael Jackson. All he did was sing and dance, but that was hella entertaining. So, I'm put Michael Jackson up there.
I almost wanted to say that I would maybe, and I know we got to go in a few, but I almost would say I would even throw Prince in the mix. I was actually going to say Prince first.
We said living, though, originally, right? Current?
Well, he said of all time.
I thought there was no set time frame for it.
Oh, I thought he was saying current, which is why he picked Jamie. That's why.
Because if we're going, because I was gonna say Prince first, but I wanted to try to keep it like relevant or with the today's times recent. But I would say Prince. Prince, he did act. We saw him act in a couple movies. You know what I mean? Clearly the greatest musician of all time. Right. Can sing, can dance. He could rap. You heard on some of his like songs in the 90s. Yeah. He like had his little like flow, whatever. He clearly wrote everything for everybody, produced, played. So, I mean, if we're going to go all out entertainer of all time, musician and all that, Prince takes the cake for me.
Yeah, and musician, 100%.
I like that one.
I agree there. The only thing I'll say Eddie Murphy didn't have is, as far as his acting capability, he didn't do the drama. He did the comedy, he did the action, but he didn't do any drama.
Have you seen Dreamgirls?
Huh?
Have you seen Dreamgirls? He was Oscar.
Like I said, that wasn't dope. That was him just. Dreamgirls were just I didn't care for it that much.
That was a very dramatic role. Like, he played an artist who had a drug problem and died of overdose. Like, that's not dramatic.
Early. Give me early.
I guess, I'll give you that. I forgot about Dreamgirls, but like I said, it wasn't a Ray.
In a lot of his other movies, like
Ray has no rewatchability. You've seen it once,
Ray a few times. I watched Ray more than I watched Dreamgirls.
Wow, that's a big statement.
And Eddie, even in his comedic performances, has had like traces of like drama and stuff like that. Now, of course, he's a comedic actor at the end of the day, but I mean, no, I think he has a wide range of versatility. So,
like I said, I feel you. I feel you. He did do that. He did a great job on that. He did something else too.
But I'll take like 10 of his movies over anything that the others have made ever.
Oh, big facts. In terms of
like 100%. Beverly Hills, Cop, to obviously Come to America, to obviously Boomerang, things like that, Professor. I mean,
Boomerang is definitely one of my top 5 flicks. So definitely, like I said, I love Eddie. He's definitely on there.
I love Distinguished Gentleman. That's a super underrated movie.
That doesn't get talked about.
Underrated movie to the max.
It's been a minute since I even saw that, so I need
just finagled his way into the political system off of the name recognition. Just the name. Like,
I'm gonna have to keep that movie out tonight.
When you sent out that link like a while back to the chat group or whatever, that had the list of all those different movies and like checking off all the ones you watched, and I'm like, dang, like I ain't seen that. Forgot about Distinguished Gentleman. I did see that, but that was hella long ago. But I was like, man, I need to start watching some of these movies. And I started to watch the Johnson Family Vacation one because I was like, I want to say I saw that, but I can't remember. And that, like, I started watching it with Cedric the Entertainer, and I was like, oh, okay, now I remember it. But Lil Bow Wow's in that ish. Like, I mean, like, it's funny because so many of those movies, it didn't like. It hit something in my head where I was like, I know I've seen that before. I know I've heard that before. It's just that I never actually, either one, I was young, hella young, to where like I didn't pay much attention to the ish, or two, like it just wasn't relevant enough for me to be like, oh man, that was dope. Let me, do it again or whatever. So I feel like I need to revisit a whole bunch of those movies and whatnot. Jason's Lyric, forgot all about that ish, like another track, another movie like The Inkwell. I remember that was dope.
The Wood was dope.
The Wood, yeah. I mean, so there's a whole bunch like those
black
movies and whatnot that I need to catch up on and whatnot.
I think I still got that on DVD. Inkwell, that was a good flick. Dang. Yeah, you bringing it back. I forgot about those. I'm gonna have to peep that out. I'm gonna have to peep out Distinguished Gentleman. I haven't seen that in a minute.
For real.
It's a good one. Y'all ready to wrap it?
Yes, sir. I said about time to dip. Got to get the day started.
Yeah.